1.5 million. But when the house is complete, there are lots of inspections. Everybody comes for inspection. So the returns are good, fairly very good. I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brigadier Sir. No, where's Usha? No, I would like to invite Usha. Usha Sharma, we would like to know how to be only girl or a few girls in the college dominated by boys. I remember when I went to college in '63, there was only one girl, Sahota, as you have heard the name, and she graduated in '64. From '64 to '67, 3 years, we never saw a girl in our campus. And then you see, we had an architectural college, and then the girls started coming, but they had a different block.
आप लोगों के कॉलेज में लड़कियां नहीं थी, इसीलिए आप सब अच्छे इंजीनियर बन गए। लड़कियां होती तो बहुत डिस्ट्रैक्शन होती।
Thank you. I agree. So gentlemen, we would like to hear from Usha. What is the life of a girl student in a boys dominated college? Usha.
Thank you, Anand. Hi everyone. I feel so lucky to be here among all of you. It's like I can visualize how my life is going to be after 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So yeah, I was the privileged one because I could get good studies. I grew up in Chandigarh and I was in an all-girls school throughout. So I didn't feel anything like, is there any difference in education between boys and girls? Because in the school, they were offering all the subjects, girls were taking all the subjects and they were like excelling everywhere, right? So I did pretty well in school and then I moved on to engineering college and there it was like totally different world. So many people, very few girls. It was pretty scary at that time. Because you are a teenager, you don't know what to do. I felt completely lost. So, and then, but since it was not like one or two girls, it was quite some percentage. I was from electronics. So there were 10 girls in my class. In computer science and electrical also there was good percentage of girls. But for some of the branches like mechanical, only one girl. We used to feel sorry for her. And we used to wonder why she chose that, right? But anyway, it was like the professor and all, they had quite accepted that, yeah, girls also have a place in the college. Right? And if you remember in the first year, you have to do all those workshops, one by one. So the staff over there, they used to really feel frustrated as to how come girls are coming here. These are not the jobs for girls, especially the foundry, the metal shop, the carpentry shop, right? So yeah, especially for the foundry where you have to just beat up that the iron thing to convert from a cylinder to a square, right? So and we used to go there in groups. So they would divide up the whole class into four groups, and it so happened that in our group it was all girls. So we could not get help from the boys also. So sometimes, yeah, the assistants over there, they would have to, it's like our time was running out, but we could not convert the cylinder into that cube. But it was actually very adventurous, right? So some of the subjects, the girls will excel naturally, especially the mechanical drawing subject. And I would feel that being a girl was maybe, it played to an advantage also in some senses, because all the professors, they were used to having boys who would maybe ruin their equipment and all, and they would trust the girls to be very good with maintaining, say, a piece or taking care of their, whatever, the prized possessions there. So there was Mr. Prasad, one of the professors, and he actually gave me keys to his lab. his computer labs. He had acquired 3 desktops, and it was an air-conditioned lab. And he would happily give me the keys so I can use those computers at any time. And I know Vikram may be feeling jealous about it, but he would not let the boys enter that room at all. And because yeah, I know he was very concerned that the grants and all were very less, and it was with great difficulty that he got those computers. So actually, while in the engineering college, I did not feel anything like being a girl is anything say frowned upon, or you don't have a place there. Whatever I felt in the industry afterwards tells a different story, because the opportunities sometimes I feel that they may be lesser for women, especially as you are growing in your career. But thankfully in the college I never felt like that. And the girls were always, there were very few girls, but if you see in all the branches wherever there were girls, they were always topping. So so this was a good thing. Maybe they were giving a lot of competition. You mentioned that boys, maybe they got distracted.
You were the lucky one, because you will be getting all the attention, right? All the girls.
Yeah. So the girls were not distracted though.
No. Girls are smart.
Yeah. So yeah, it was very good, and I'm very, very thankful to all the professors and the staff there, that they made us good engineers, so we could excel in our careers. Thank you all for listening.
थैंक यू उषा। लेकिन एक बात आपको बता दूं मैं मैडम, कि हम सभी शरीफ थे, इसमें कोई शक नहीं। हमारे से जो गर्ल्स कॉलेज था वो कम से कम 10 मील दूर था।
भाई साहब, मुझे इतना याद है कि जब मैं स्कूल में थी तो गर्ल्स स्कूल बॉयज स्कूल साइड बाय साइड, एवरी टाइम वी वर आउटसाइड डूइंग पी और समथिंग, लड़के लोग वहाँ मुर्गे बन के खड़े होते थे। तो ये सारे शरीफ हैं, एक शरीफ के साथ मैं भी रह रही हूँ।
इसमें कोई शक नहीं है, वो देख रहे हैं, हम उनकी शराफत झलक आ रही है।
विजय मेरी रेपुटेशन बना देनी।
नहीं सर, बिल्कुल सर, ये रहा। ओके, now let's keep going, and at this time I would like to invite Mr. Rajiv Batra to be, he is a very successful engineer in the Bay Area. He has done, I have interacted with him when I was with the Department of Transportation as executive, as a resident engineer, and he was the city manager of City of San Jose. So at that time we had many meetings and to resolve our issues between the city and the freeways. So at that time I was really impressed. Even otherwise he had a big role in my life. So at this time I would like to invite Rajiv to say a few things. Please request, try to make it short.
Yes. Thank you, Vijay, and it's a pleasure to see you all. And I'll keep my stories short also, but want to share something, because of the engineering college, because of teachers like Dr. Sharma, and I met Nick also a long time ago, 35, 40 years ago here. It's people like them who've shaped our careers and how we interact in the society. I'll give you a quick example. I never had to go to school here. I was very fortunate. I did my BE and ME in Chandigarh. And I come here, like I said, Anu was here before. I land here looking for a job. I end up in Mill Valley in Marin County because our first stay was in Santa Rosa. Anu's brother and my sister were there, so that became our home. So I was looking for a job in that area. Go to a private company called Bala in Strandgard. And I go there and they asked me, they looked for the resume, I showed it to them. And after like 15 minutes of talking, the guy says, do you know Gurmeet Sarkaria? And there was a Justice Sarkaria, some of you may remember, in Punjab and Haryana High Court. And his brother was a high-level engineer at an international engineering company in San Francisco. And one of the bosses, he had worked under him. So, and I told him, I don't know Mr. Sarkaria, but I know of the family. I know the name because Justice Sarkaria's son was also in our college. Just knew the name. I just had to say that, and he hired me on the spot, just like Nick did to Vijay. I mean, that was my interview, literally coming from India, no schooling here. So the credit goes to the engineering college, which taught us how to carry ourselves, and in my life, I still tell the boys it's a zero-sum game. Some people have made it real good in high-tech, Google, this, that. And then there are people like me, because it's a zero-sum game, you have to balance everything out, right? So really, people from our college, they've achieved very, very high levels. I hear some bank MDs are now, or whatever the highest level in India is. So, Brigadier Sandhu, and I heard some generals are there now. And then there's a big police officer too, I read somewhere from our college. He became through IPS. He was a big commander of police in Bombay or something. I think he was Prime Minister Modi's first bodyguard or chief of security also. Anyhow, so, but college from my perspective, made us very well-rounded. Yeah, if you want to, whatever you pick to do, you can do. So people who wanted to study, I was not really into that. But college encouraged me to do other things, Though I graduated in 75, but those of you who are 3-4 years senior or 3-4 year juniors, every college function I used to play banjo. So I was known for that. And somebody mentioned Lodi function, that was our favorite thing. K. Deep and Jagmohan Kaur used to come there, right, in those days. So college gave us the opportunity to, explore every aspect of it. And that's what I credit the college also. You didn't have to be studious kind or excel in studies, but they gave us opportunities to do a lot of things. I played a lot of sports, badminton, cricket, ping pong, hostel de vich ho time ke mein pass karo, right? So anyhow, so that was my first job here, got hired, and I give credit to the engineering college for that. And then Vijay mentioned, I won't go into details, everyone's career has taken you to very big heights in a way. But as civil engineers, the best thing is you see things built and you drive on it. When you flush the toilet, it flushes. Airport with City of San Jose in 80s, I got to be the project manager for the San Jose Airport expansion. It used to be a municipal airport. Now and when they were planning international airport, now it is. So, the roads you take, the bridges you take, the parking, everything has my name on it, which makes me so proud. Coming from Chandigarh, and somebody, they also have said from a, small town, and so same with me, I'm from Rohtak originally. So, those are big achievements, but you have to stay grounded. Your head cannot swell too much. And then going to City of Santa Clara, and I was Public Works Director there also, all the convention center expansions and lots of projects, and Levi's is the best, which fell in our lap because the team's headquarters, as you know, they were in Santa Clara, but they used to play in San Francisco. So our politicians got together and persuaded them to come here. Unfortunately, from my perspective, the location is not good. It's bad for traffic and congestion and everything. I had proposed at that time that we use the golf course, which was near 237 and Tasman, Santa Clara Golf Course, which was 240 acres of land, and this thing would have sit there so perfectly. You could bring ramps from 237 connecting directly to the parking, but political will was not there because golf course made $1 million a year, and my hand was slapped so bad. Are you kidding me? We'll lose $1 million a year in revenue, And now that golf course is sold for development anyway, in hindsight. So anyhow, so long story short, engineering college has really given us so much and taught us so much. And you've heard it from everyone, from experts like Dr. Sharma, Dr. Paul. We need to keep giving back. If we run into someone who's looking for help, looking for placement somewhere, whatever we can do, we should do. So with that, thank you all, and it's a pleasure to meet you all, and all the best.
Thank you, Rajiv. It reminded me of my daughter riding with my son-in-law in the car. As I told you a little bit, that I was working for the Department of Transportation. I worked there for almost 22 years and retired as office chief. And she was driving on 880 and she was doing like this. And my son-in-law said, "You are driving as if it is your father's road." He says, "Yes, note it, my father built it." And she was right, because one of the times I took her with me to the job. So, and another thing I would like to say, that when I got into Caltrans, I was working as a consultant through him. And then I had the interview after clearing my PE, which I cleared in the first instance. And there was this committee of 3 people who were interviewing me for a resident engineer's position, because for that you need a PE. So one of those people in that 3 was my own resident engineer, and I asked him after the interview, "How did my interview go?" He says, "I cannot tell you." He was a Gora. I said, "Anything else?" He says, "There was some Joshi over there. When he looked at your resume and he saw that you graduated from Punjab Engineering College, he spoke in the committee that this is the best college in India." So I think that was the thing which I needed at that time. So absolutely, this is just a story, but I think it is still and is, as everybody has said, made us what we are. So we should be thankful to that. So at this time, I would like to invite Mr. Harminder Singh, who has worked with me tirelessly. I don't know, I didn't see the time of the day or night to call him for any suggestion or anything we are doing on this. And he was gracious enough to accept those calls and guide me wherever I could. So at this time, I would like to have him. He'll say something which you haven't heard so far, please. So Harminder, please come.
Thank you very much. I feel so much privileged to have you all from Punjab Engineering College over here. About my experience over there, as usual, I was average student, so nothing much to do. But here, Manu Thapar was here. When somebody connected with the teachers over there, it is a very special thing. I knew Dr. Thapar when he taught me in the BTech and then Master of Electrical Engineering. One of the best professors I can think of, and one of the best human beings I can think of. So later, after doing my BE, I joined Punjab State Electricity Board, and we had the research unit in Punjab Engineering College. There was a history why it was there. So at that time, I had more chance to meet professor. I had developed more affectionate relation with the professor, and especially with Dr. Thapar. Then I was taught in Masters of Electrical Engineering by Dr. Bhatti. I was doing part-time ME while I was working in State Electricity Board. So he is the person who introduced, and we included Sardar Ranbir Singh, who was to be chief guest today, Brigadier Sandhu, and Dr. Hardev Singh. Thank you. He has an honorary degree by Sial University.
Thank you for seconding me.
Sial University has given him, and it is convocation for him today. About the college, there are certain things which we have not read generally, and we don't talk about those things, and we don't know. I will touch upon those things. How the idea of Mughalpura Technical College evolved. During British period, they were getting engineers from Britain, and they were getting very costly too. So then in 1919, they thought we should have some engineering college over here, so that we produce engineers and technicians and use it over. So that committee was formed in 1919, and then you see, it takes time for planning and everything. Then in 1921, 9th of November, the first, when they dig the dirt, Taknana. So that was done on 9th of November, 1921. The college did not start at that time. When they say, hey, what is this area? This is Mogulpura Engineering College project. It went for 2 years. Then in 1923, the college was completed, and the first governor at that time was Sir Edward Douglas Macklin. And the college was inaugurated in 1923, in March 1923. And another thing is the total cost for that, which to me looks to be a mistake. It is mentioned 1,04,188 rupees.
Wow.
But to me it looks a little mistake. I will tell you the source from where I get, you can verify. Then the first principal in the McLaughlin College was Captain H. Whitcar. He took the charge in October 1923. He was the first principal. I talked to Dr. Bhatti if he can give me the name of it, but later on I got in the literature. When he took the charge, the first word he spoke was "Qui va lament va loin." It is a French word, meaning one who goes slowly goes far. That may be applicable over there, but not in these days of speed. People will say, no, listen. When Edward Macklin performed the formal opening of the college on March 1924, the Mogulpura Technical College was renamed as Macklin College. Another interesting thing is on the foundation stone, which is fixed on the right side of the that main block, the name of the Macklin is mentioned because he laid the stone. In the same stone, the name of Lala Harkrishnan Lal is also mentioned, who was agriculture minister at that time. He was a very influential person. He was an industrialist. He was a businessman. He might have helped the college to be in the shape. That's why his name is there on the foundation stone and emblem of rising sun along with his name. This thing was not known to me, Lala Harkrishnan Lal. And he was born in 1864, died in 1937 in Pakistan, in that area, of course, British India. At that time, only 50 students were admitted. Only electrical and mechanical engineering, no civil engineering at that time. There was a course A and course B. Course A was superior, 5 years course both. In course A, they were doing 3 years in the college and 2 years of training. The same course A was later on converted in degree course. Course B was again 5 years, but 1 week in the classes, 1 week in the practical training. And every week they were changing it. When I come to course A, you might have heard about Air Vice Marshal Harjinder Singh. He's very much connected with our Punjab Engineering College. He was the person who donated on behalf of course, Indian Air Force, and that aeroplane which is lying by the side of the playground. He got admission over in 1926 and did the course in 1931. In 1931, they thought, okay, let's get it affiliated to the Punjab University so that the degree could be given to. So that materialized in 1932. And after that, the degree course was started. In 1931, the civil engineering was introduced. At that time, the students' number was increased from 50 to 341, and the number of teachers from 13 to 33. And in the same year, the name of McLaughlin was dropped from the college name, though it was still British rule. And it was termed as Punjab College of Engineering and Technology, because now they were giving the degree engineering and technology means for technicians also. So it was mentioned like that. Incidentally, a very peculiar figure. The campus of Punjab Engineering College is spread over 147 acres. And now Punjab Engineering College in Lahore, which is UET, University for Engineering and Technology, is also 147 acres.
Wow.
This is just a coincidence. Then in 1947, when the college shifted to Roorkee, then the story, of course, is known to everybody. Now, the last thing I will touch upon, how the aeronautical engineering started. In 1962, when the Chinese aggression was there, they were feeling shortage of aeronautical engineers. Then Air Vice Marshal Harjinder Singh, being from the college, he approached the engineering college authorities, hey, let's do it. But had they admitted the students at that time, 4 years means they would have been out by 67. So they improvised. Then in 1964 batch, mechanical, some people opted for aeronautical, 17 people, similarly 65 batch. So that's how. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I know we are running out of time. So at this time, as already committed, I would like to invite Mr. Narinder Sood to try to be as brief as possible, please. And after that, we'll start some program.
Well, I'll try to be brief. I don't want to bore you, but couple of themes have showed up in our speakers, and one is giving back to the college. And giving back to the college, I will recommend that me and Gil have been contributing to PEC 1965 batchmates group some money to help the poorest of the poor and also intelligent kids. So we intend to continue that, we have done that, and I will request that if some of you can do it conveniently, even $10 would be nice. This year we are supporting one kid by the name of Himanshu Kumar Singh. First year we are going to pay for all his expenses through the money raised by this group. And there is a contact, we can give it to you if you are interested. You can reach us by email him or me and we'll furnish it. Secondly, I want to thank our great professors, Professor Sharma, Professor Bhatti, and others too, including B. Thapar, who I had contacted, I had run across him, and he was one of the great professors I saw in India and I saw in this country. He was working at Montana State as a full professor, and he was an expert on grounding, which was his expertise. Now, I'd like to add something to this, and I won't take too much time. The name of Narinder Kaur Sahota has been brought up. She was 1 year ahead of us, a girl, and I used to wonder, how can this girl not talk at all and spend time amongst hundreds of us maintaining absolute silence and just listening to the lectures and all that. Now my friend here, and I think Mr. Bhatti knows him, I won't take any name, tells me an interesting story. I was talking to him, he said he was propositioned for engagement to one of the Punjab Engineering College girls. And I said, was it Narinder Kaur? He said, yeah. So, strange coincidence. He's very successful. And he's made a lot of money and he's retired now. His sons have taken over his business. He said, I was a boy from a village, illiterate, about the manners, about this thing. Her father was an STO. So they invited me for dinner because they were coming to me to pick up medicines. And I was giving it to them. So I got this invitation and I didn't know how to act or how to behave and all that. मैं गया पिंड दा जट बन के उत्थे ना मैनू मैनर ना मैनू Batan di tamiz. Kehna, but I was not interested in marriage, so I walked out. But this is the story of Narinder Kaur Sohota. Now I also understand that Narinder Kaur Sohota married a guy who has a PhD also. And she did her PhD also. And they are living in this country and I don't know. Yeah. So I'll leave it there. So if you want to contribute, please do so. And now I will tell you a little bit. I'll read it to you, and I think that will be better because I don't want my memory to fail. It is interesting information, and you can take it in that manner.
Hold the mic right.
In life, we are given certain cards, and those are the only cards we are getting. If you change the cards, there is going to be a heavy price to be paid. Now, come back to our lives and careers. And I would say this, imagine life as a game of 5 balls that you have manipulated in moving up and down. And make sure that they don't fall. One of them is a rubber ball, and all others are glass balls. It will be long before, actually, I'm sorry, the 5 balls are work, family, health, friends, and soul. It will not be long before you realize that work is a rubber ball. Whenever you fall, you will always jump again. And this has happened to us, all of us. Whenever you fall, you have to watch other balls that you don't drop them. And if you drop them, they are going to never be restored to their original shape. Enjoy the rest of the evening and good luck to all of you. I'm glad we are here as a group and we should maintain it as a group. Thank you. Oh, I want to say one more thing. Our thanks are to this gentleman, Devinder Dhillon, and I was a part to it. We worked hard without any politics or anything, and I am glad we were able to accomplish this. Thank you.
Thank you guys. And Jeevan Garewal also.
I will take half a minute. For the curiosity of the people from where I got it, this is by Dr. Neelam Nas. She is Professor, Department of Architecture in UET Lahore. She wrote the article, 80 years passed through history of the college about 20 years back. You get all these details which I spoke from there. Dr. Neelam Nas.
That's okay. We can share it on our WhatsApp now. That's not a problem. Okay guys, how much bored you are now? I have a couple of things. I have to do one thing for sure. That is my wife's poem. And Rajiv Batra, I'm curious. Are you sure? Okay. So at this time, I would like to invite my lovely wife for 50 years. She had been spending all these times with me. I don't know how. But we are having our anniversary next month, in February. So they'll be completing 50 years. So please listen to her. Thank you.
Hello to all of you. आवाज आ रही है?